Here are 3 reasons why I'm still buying Manta. Reason number 1 is because I like its room for growth. And even though nothing I say is a guarantee nor financial advice, the way you take a look at it is this. Manta going to the price of $20. That right there is around a 24x from here. That's pretty good in my opinion. Now, again, not financial advice, but anything over a 10x I think is very impressive. If I were to put $1,000 into Manta right now, and let's say it were to go to, again, the price of $20, at that point, that $1,000 would hypothetically become around 24, grand, right? I mean, that's very insane. Here's the thing. A lot of people out there, they seem to think that this room for growth is complete caca because they're like, come on, man, this meme coin could do 1,000x. Oh, this micro cap could do like a 69,000x, whatever, right? But the way I view it is that I'm not looking for that in the world of cryptocurrencies. I don't need a 1,000x. I don't need a 2,000x. That's not what I'm looking for. Anything over a 10x, in my opinion, is a big bonus. So if I see something like this, hypothetically doing over a 20x, hey, that's good for me. At least that's the way I take a look at it. Now, some people may think that, okay, yeah, the market cap would be like 1 trillion, right? It'd be like 500 billion. No, that's not true. Because if it were to go to, again, the price of $20, considering current circulating supply, market cap would only be around $8 billion. Now, why do I use the word only? Because this right here is actually around 10% of Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. I mean, just let that sink in. Shiba Inu at one point reached on 40 billion. So is 8 billion really like too much to ask for? Now, I'm not saying that Manta is some sort of meme coin. I'm not saying that. But still, I think this, if anything, showcases that when it comes to Manta, just achieving a glimpse of some caca meme coins, that's already hypothetically very amazing. So I really like that when it comes to Manta. It's not too massive where it's a dinosaur. It's not like a Solana, Ethereum, BNB, or like a Bitcoin. Even though I'm not saying they're going to do bad, they're going to do okay, in my opinion. But they're not going to do over 20x. Let's face it, right? Now, not financial advice, but still, it's just not logical. During this board, I'm not saying in like 20, 30 years. I'm just saying, again, in the next 6 months, a year from right now, just a no bueno for me. So I like that when it comes to Manta. It's on a dinosaur where the room for growth is completely, caca, but then it's not a micro cap, which granted could outperform Manta during a fully fledged bull run, but still the risk is so high. I'm not going to dabble with a micro cap. I'm in the world of cryptocurrencies to look for projects that are okay in size, but then not a dinosaur. And that's what I really like about Manta. And now here's the thing, right? Some people like to say that Manta is not going to gain attention. It's completely trash. It's completely caca. Well, no, I disagree, because this brings me to my second point, which is the second reason as to why I'm buying Manta, and it's because I'm a big fan of the Manta network. Keep in mind, right? The Manta network does offer 2 networks. The first is, of course, something called Manta Pacific, which allegedly is the modular layer 2 ecosystem on Ethereum for Ethereum Virtual Machine, aka EVM, native ZK applications. Now, let's break this down, because there's 2 aspects that I want to focus on when it comes to this. The first is ZK, which is zero knowledge, and the second is something called, again, layer 2, right? That term. But to kick things off, let's say I want to start off with what a layer 2 is all about. Now, a layer 2, you take a look at it, what it does is that it basically allows Ethereum to be enjoyed while at the same time not dealing with the crazy nonsense. Because just think about this, Ethereum has sky-high gas fees, and it's arguably not even scalable. So, of course, that's completely trash, in my opinion, right? Just imagine if layer 2s didn't exist, and let's say someone wants to send their girlfriend's boyfriend's grandma some ETH to buy a used Bratwurst extender Lee the Captain edition. Let's say that's the case. Or maybe, someone wants to send some ETH over to their, friend or whatever to buy like a caca scooper or something, their friend's grandma, maybe. Who knows? Girlfriend's boyfriend's grandma, we might never know. But even besides that point, can you imagine the gas fees they're going to have to pay for that? It could be insane. So, of course, what is a way to kind of combat that? Again, by having an Ethereum layer 2. Because, of course, Ethereum is a very impressive ecosystem. There are so many amazing projects on it. So it would be a shame if that can't be enjoyed, right? So, of course, an Ethereum layer 2 is very vital. Now, some people may argue that, okay, there's too many Ethereum layer 2s out there. We don't need another one, right? But if you take a look at it, this one has a ZK aspect, aka zero knowledge. Now, what is the benefit of zero knowledge technology, you may ask, right? For instance, it could include greater scalability and as well as enhanced privacy, which, of course, are 2 things we like because, again, Ethereum, scalability is often an issue reported, and also privacy. I mean, we just all like that in general. So, yeah, that's great. Anyway, take a look at it. Now, The second thing that makes up the Manta network is something called Manta Atlantic. Now, let's take a look at this, right? Because allegedly, it's the fastest ZK, again, like I mentioned before, zero knowledge, layer 1 chain on Polkadot. Now, you got to think about this, right? Some people like to say that, okay, who cares about Polkadot? But Polkadot aims to connect blockchains together. It's focused on interoperability. And again, that's a big issue as of right now. Many blockchains out there, they can't freely send data and value to each other currently. So that's where Polkadot steps in. So if you think about it, Polkadot plays a very vital role. And again, Manta Atlantic allegedly being the fastest, ZK layer 1 chain. I mean, caralho, porra. This is very impressive. At least that's the way I view it. Now, let's take a look at this as well, right? Because we'll also see that when it comes to the Manta network, there's over 200 projects as well. So that's very impressive. And on the Manta ecosystem, we'll find projects related to DeFi, aka decentralized finance, gaming, and the metaverse. So I think this is very impressive. Now, granted, do these markets have the best hype as of right now? No. But imagine once they do pick up again, and maybe even in a better way than what we've seen before in the past. This could be so amazing for Manta, but it's only a waiting game. But only time will tell. And now, with that being said, if you take a look at Manta, it does have a canary network, and that is something called the Calamari network. Now, you may think this may sound a little bit corny, but here's the thing. I think it fits well with the whole theme, because you take a look at Manta Atlantic, Manta Pacific, now you take a look at Calamari network, you kind of get it, right? The association. But yeah, besides that point, what is the benefit of something like a canary network, you may ask? For instance, you take a look at Polkadot. Now, here's the thing. I mentioned Polkadot before, and I mentioned how Manta Atlantic is the fastest ZK layer 1 chain on Polkadot, allegedly. So you get the connection here, right? But yeah, besides that point, Polkadot has a canary network called Kusama. And basically, projects that want to launch on Polkadot, they'll usually launch on Kusama first. They test out their project there. They verify it under real economic conditions. And maybe they can move it on later on to something like Polkadot. Now, they don't have to do that because there is projects like, for instance, Moonriver that is on Kusama. So it's not like they're forced to move on to Polkadot. But then this way, if a project doesn't have the resources or the capabilities to jump straight onto Polkadot, they can launch on Kusama first and then move on to Polkadot if they want to, because on Kusama, far easier to make changes, far cheaper to rent building space. So that's very amazing in terms of attracting new developers, new projects, let's say. So when it comes to the Calamari network, it's basically like that, but then for the Manta network. You know what I mean? It's basically like the Kusama of, the Manta network, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's very amazing. Now, this is great, of course, because, again, a talented developer, they may not have the resources, the finances to jump straight onto the big deal, so to speak, right? So they can dabble with this first and move on later. So that's very fantastic. Think about it as like this. Every superhero needs a sidekick. Polkadot has, Kusama. Polkadot is Batman. Kusama is Robin. Think about, basically, the Manta network, it's like The Rock. You know what I mean? Calamari network, it's kind of like Kevin Hart. Every superhero needs a sidekick. Now, I'm not saying that, The Rock is a superhero, even though he did play as a superhero. But besides that point, Kevin Hart wasn't like the sidekick. But still, you kind of get the association there. When they make movies, I really like it. For instance, I like Central Intelligence. There's a lot of good movies when it comes to The Rock, Kevin Hart. But yeah, besides that point, it's kind of like that. So when it comes to this whole thing, so to speak, I really like it. I think Manta has amazing fundamentals. And that's why, I'm still buying Manta. I'm a really big fan of its fundamentals. And it's something that's not going to disappear when the fans are hyper gone. And I really like that because it has an actual use case. So I think that's amazing. And now the third and final reason why I'm still buying Manta is because I think this bull run could be so special. There's over 500 million crypto owners, more than ever before in history, according to Crypto.com research. You take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption, and we're seeing the trajectory of Bitcoin as of right now just be absolutely amazing. So I think that this bull run could be so fantastic. And imagine once Bitcoin goes to the price of $150,000 and maybe even beyond, the altcoin season could look so amazing, especially once a lot of people start taking profits from Bitcoin and start flowing that into, relatively speaking, smaller projects and altcoins. It could be so fantastic, but it's just a waiting game. 6 months to a year from right now, it could be so different. And Manta, again, I think could shock the world. And what am I going to do in the meantime? I want to be dollar cost averaging. Anytime an income, I'm acquiring, I'm holding, and I'm just waiting. That's it. I'm staying consistent when it comes to Manta because, again, $150 during this bull run, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, especially when I consider how special this run could be, and also when I consider just how fantastic Manta is. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Malik the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm a peace. Bye.